All right. What's up, everybody? Here we are behind the Reel podcast. I've got a special guest today, Mr. Trevor K. Johnson. Trevor,
What's
what's up,
up?
man?
How are you, man?
I just learned the significance of the K. So make sure when you guys are referencing Mr. Trevor, you don't leave out the K. That's important. So I'm going to go ahead and get this link shared on social media and stuff, try to get some people coming in here. And I'm going to start off with a question for you. And that question is going to be just kind of an introduction into who you are. Obviously, we're interested in hearing your take because you're a fisherman. So we want to know what got you into fishing, and then you can kind of lead that into what got you into kayak fishing.
All right, John. Basically, I've been fishing my whole life. You often get the answer from people that they know exactly when they caught the first bass and caught that bug, and I've never had that story. I don't know a time in my life where fishing wasn't very important to me. My dad, uncles, they tournament fished growing up with me, and they kind of fell out, but the passion was still there, and they instilled that in me. So growing up, I just wanted to fish. That's all I wanted to do. Always, I'd ride my bicycle miles, and I'm not talking a good bike. I'm talking a little BMX, and I would ride it miles just to go fish a creek and catch bluegill.
Yeah.
So another thing about me is I'm a very competitive person. So, the family did the tournaments, so naturally that's what I wanted to do. When I grew up, I wanted to be a professional bass angler. So I dipped my toes in the jackpot thing, fished local stuff, and then I started fishing BFLs. The age of 18, end of high school, early college, fished as a co-angler for a while, and that was all fine and dandy. Kind of got sick of not being in control and backboating, and there's my dogs because my wife's home.
There's the dogs.
But backboating was a real issue with me, and I didn't like not being in control. So it was either buy a bass boat or find another avenue. So I actually bought an Ascend 128, like everyone starts in, it seems like. I hear that story a lot. Guys starting in the Ascend. So I could get on the water during college and do tournaments. Started doing monthlies, and I didn't start the live thing until last year. And that's when I really started diving deep into following it and nerding out a little bit on the kayak thing. And now I spend a lot of time in a yak.
Heck yeah. So you've been doing this ever since you were a youngin'.
Yes.
And you did mention that your family did tournaments?
Yeah, just local stuff.
Okay. And how did they do?
As far as I know, they can compete. I know they can still catch fish, so I assume they did okay. But yeah.
Anybody you were trying to live up to?
Not necessarily. I just wanted to catch fish with them, right? And then I wanted to beat them in that moment, and that helped drive my competitive nature a little bit.
Heck yeah. Looks like we got some guys joining in here. We got Mr. Fat Bass's TV. Casual Bass guys in there. Heck yeah. Pond Warrior, David. We got some guys in here watching us. Thanks for joining us live. This is the Behind the Reel podcast. And this is our first ever live. So we're just kind of winging it. I've got some questions that I'm going to ask that kind of are going to be similar to the ones that you've seen in the past episodes, right? And then we're gonna allow you guys to toss up some comments and join in the conversation as well. Casual Bass Guy says you better spill the beans tonight. So he's ready to hear what the juice was.
I wish I had the juice to tell, but we'll talk about it for sure.
Ryan Brook jumped on here. Ryan Brook jumped on here, says he still has his Ascend and he's winning out of it. Funny story, Mr. Ryan Brook. He definitely beat us in an Ascend a few years back. I'm sure more than once, but the one that's coming to mind is at Gary State Fishing Lake. And I believe he caught like a 22 and a half inch fish, like just insane. And it was a big old fat one.
Princess catches fish for sure. And
Okay. There's some
last
friendly
year,
rivalry there, right?
yeah, well, it's actually my team partner too.
Okay.
So me and Ryan actually both had Hobies and left them at home last year and did win a team tournament out of paddle yaks.
That's
So
cool.
it is what it is.
I mean, intention, like the challenge or what?
The challenge of not having to drag Hobies to where we were going.
Uh,
Yeah.
David says, ask Trevor when he is buying a Hobie. I think that he has been in a Hobie before. I
I
think
have.
he's in a new canoe, obviously now. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Hit me up, man. I know a guy.
We uh we are testing a Hobie this weekend for the Dardanelle. I will be in a Hobie, whether that be an Outback or I end up borrowing a PA. But I will be fishing this weekend out of a Hobie, in fact, because I can't run a motor.
Yeah. Yep. In the BOS. Yeah. So, okay. So you're going to Dardanelle, you're fishing a Hobie event. And have you fished a Hobie event before?
This will be my first Hobie event.
Okay.
This will actually be my first quote unquote major. The All American Classic would have been the biggest tournament I fished up until this point.
So this would be your first national event, I
Yep.
guess.
Yep.
And any nerves or what do you think? Excited?
I'm excited. Dardanelle fish is my style for the most part. I mean, it's shallow water, it's flipping, it's grass, it's braid. I'm hoping I can use my strengths to do, have a good finish. I don't really know what that qualifies as yet. I think that'll come as it hits me.
Yeah.
Nerves will kick in when I get closer, but right now it's just map studies as usual. Same thing I did for Butler. I mean, I'm looking at a map and I'm playing around, man, trying to figure
Okay.
information.
Perfect. So that kind of leads us into a question, not necessarily our next question, but we don't have to do this in any sort of order. How do you prepare for a tournament?
The the start of all my tournament prep comes down to map study. I mean, especially if I'm blind to the event. Like Butler, I'd never been. Not much map to study there, but I've got to try to make it fit my strengths. And my strengths are shallow fishing for the most part. I consider myself decently versatile, but if I can catch them with a flipping rod in my hand, that's what I'm going to do. So I try to look at for creeks, rivers, just kind of what kind of structure I'm seeing. So the Google Earth Pro, I think everyone's probably using at this point the satellite to check for their map study. So Butler, for instance, again, 124 acres, and not much to look for there, but I did notice the creek, and I knew it'd probably get crowded. And if you guys paid attention early, me and Ryan took off racing, and that's
Yeah.
not new. We tend to do that again. We're both very competitive. We're teammates, and that is kind of our style. We're going to go find shallow water because we do fish similar a lot of the time. Um, so tourney prep told me that's probably what's going to be the deal, especially because right now we had a cold front. It's a warming trend recently, so the bass are going to be wanting to move up, hopefully throughout the day. And so I knew that because of my map study beforehand. As far as prepping gear, again, I'm going to try to make it go to my strengths, but I roll with a big old bag full of stuff. I was not prepared for that turn. I was not dialed going into that tournament by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay. So when you say map study, I heard you throw out Google Earth Pro. You're going back in time, seeing when maybe some of those lower lake levels are going to expose some bottom composition or something, right?
Correct.
What about you did tell me you had live scope.
I do.
Okay. So you're running a Garmin unit. You have some pretty good mapping depending on what unit you have. Do you use the contour or the shading um, when you're looking at that sort of stuff as well?
Yeah, I mean, because looking at a picture, you can tell kind of your shallow spots, but you can't tell the contour and your change quite as well just off of that. So generally, I nerd out. I pull up my PC and I will have Earth Pro on the left, and I will have my Navionics up on the right. Yep. And I will
Mm-hmm.
be comparing back and forth, and I will use that to kind of see, is there a channel running through there, et cetera, to help me really build off of what I'm looking at. I'm not just looking for trees in the water or something like that. Okay, I may have trees in the water at a couple foot, but it may be 20 foot right off of there. You know, it may be a steep bank. So I definitely use the navionics and the charting to show me my contour.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so you were fishing shallow. You raced up to the creek. I will say that that's also the spot that I had picked out. That's the spot I went the week before and caught a couple good ones in. And so, but then like I didn't stick to my game plan, and I told myself all week long, I was like, I'm gonna stick to my game plan no matter what. And it was cold. And I'm like, man, I just, I was feeling sluggish. I'm like, I wasn't even jumping in the kayak, right at launch time. I probably lollygagged around for 10 or 15 minutes before I took off. But you didn't. You went straight there. What'd you find out when you got there? Did you catch one right off the bat? What'd that look like?
No, I actually did not. I had a fish on the board early, not really on my game plan. I mean, I was not fishing the way I wanted to fish, but I was just scurrying because I think we ran into each other early, and I told you I'm just kind of going slow once I got back there and scouting the area to really see what I'm fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So to start off, I didn't have them. I know Ryan caught them early. He caught his four fish early, and he told me that, so I wish I would have maybe pushed back, and I would have put myself in a little more confident situation because I did not start off on the right foot. But I did stick to my game plan, and I lived back and forth. And I went further than I saw a lot of people going because I did not have the motor down for most of the day. I was paddling because I couldn't even run. So sticking too shallow, knowing that it was going to warm up throughout the day, and that water temp is going to warm up there quicker than it would have on main lake.
Okay. Cool, man. So you caught 5 throughout the whole day.
You're starting to break up. 5 what?
You caught a total of 5 fish, right? You didn't cull or anything.
No culling. I caught 5 fish, and my last 2 came late in the day.
Okay, so it was just a grinder.
Yes, absolute. Yes, I pulled out the Senko for them. So if I'm doing that, I'm desperate.
I would imagine I'd have to go back and look to really verify this information, but I believe it's the shortest limit that we've ever turned in, at least at Butler. At Butler.
I hate to stop you, but I am losing you bad right now.
Okay.
I have to reset mics real quick.
Okay. All right. I do see connection unstable here. Is that that should be a little bit better maybe, or no? I may let me try to go back in the house. 1 second, okay? All right, can you hear me now, or is that any better? No. And I can't hear you either. Gosh dang it. Sorry, everybody.
How about now, John?
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh. Sorry about that hiccup. I don't know if that was on my end or your end, but
I think it was on my end, which is weird. I was out in the garage. Which I kind of thought may be an issue, but last time we did some filming out in the garage, everything, I seemed to have good connection. But anyways, never done the live thing, so I may not be able to do that out there.
Boom. Here we are. So, you sound great on my end now. So
sweet. So here I am. And I completely spaced what we were talking about.
We kind of started talking about Butler. I know that. And I kind of wrapped up that I had to go to the Senko to get the bites.
Yeah.
Try to get to 5, and that's again all I got. I think there was a couple early I missed, not fishing the cleanest, but when the bite's that slow, we all know that bite you can jerk a little early sometimes when you're throwing the T-rig.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were throwing a Texas rig.
Yes.
Senko.
3/8 ounce.
3/8 ounce. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. And that's what you caught every single one of them on.
Every keeper. Yeah, that's what all my fish came on.
All right, so let me go back over here to the comments, see if we got any. He says weighted T-rig. Apparently your fat bass's cousin. Okay, cool. How has technology changed your approach? This is a question that we've asked in the past. Kind of touched on the pre-fishing stuff. What is your take on technology and how it's changed how you fish?
Technology for me right now, the pre-fishing game is big. But the map study's kind of been there for a while. As far as my whole life, it's been important. The big thing now is forward-facing sonar. That's what everyone talks about, and I do have live scope on the Pursuit. But I'll be pretty honest with you. A lot of people this time of year are using it way too early. It's the wrong time of year for it. You either use it, there's a time of year for it, and honestly, I think it affects the game. The sheer fact that there's a lot of guys staring at a screen that don't know what they're looking at. You got to understand fish behavior before you know what you're looking for on that forward-facing sonar. I've seen a lot of guys staring at a screen. So, it can hurt you and it can help you. I mean, technology is awesome, right? Like what we're seeing right now is amazing. It's crazy. There's a lot of people that want it banned, especially like crappie tournaments. Kind of a side note, it's changed that game dramatically. And that is where technology is at right now. I think that is the biggest thing in our game is that forward-facing sonar. Should it be allowed? Should it not be allowed? I don't really care. I'll catch them with or without it. That's not being cocky. It's new enough technology that people shouldn't be relying on it yet.
Okay.
But it's cool stuff. It's fun. I like watching the fish eat my bait. Don't get me wrong. When I'm throwing a big swim bait or I'm throwing an A-rig and you watch them eat it, it's a cool thing.
You don't throw big swim baits.
I don't. I talk about it though.
So something that I was digging around trying to do a little bit of research. Who is Trevor K? Not Trevor K. Who is this guy? I get on, well, actually it was a post he tagged me in. And, talking about how you won the event and stuff. And Working Class Hero commented on your post.
Yeah. Working Class Zero. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me why.
Working Class Zero is some soft baits that I throw a lot. I wear their clothing a lot. I mean, that's a lifestyle brand as much as it is a fishing brand when it comes to Mike Gilbert. Big fan of Mike Gilbert. You can ask any of my swim bait buddies. We watch 17, which is one of his videos of him catching a 17-pounder. I watch it weekly at least. I mean, it gets me going. It gets me excited. I throw his baits, and I've thrown his baits in tournaments before too, especially a 6-inch Citizen. So another thing is on the face of my catch board, my sticker is a Working Class Zero SB Weld sticker. My shirt, my hoodie I was wearing at the tournament was a Working Class Zero Swim Bait Underground collab shirt. So,
So he just likes you because you're a fan.
I guess so, man. I do throw his stuff, and I watch his stuff. I'm a big fan of Gilbert and what the family does there because it's a family business.
So you're not like buddies with him personally?
No, Gilbert's out from California, man.
Oh, there's my dogs right there. So, okay, well that's cool. I forgot what I was gonna say. My dogs just threw me off there. But the swim bait thing, the Working Class Zero, did he start out filming skateboard videos?
Yeah. Gilbert comes from the skate scene, and a lot of West Coast guys do. A lot of swim bait guys do. A lot of the big bait scene. There's a lot of people. It's kind of an adrenaline rush that you can compare to the two. Between the skateboarding and the same art style, a lot of videos, you see a lot of influence from the skate scene into some of the swim bait stuff. That fast pace, montage type stuff. I mean, you see a lot of that, especially dating back to like Big Bait Posse days. I don't know if you're familiar with that, back when Ike was running around with Newman and the Bailey brothers. But there's a lot. It's basically just a skate show for swim baits. I mean, that's what it looks like. It's very stylistically the same.
Cool. Yeah, I was a big skateboarder back in the day, high school, and Man, I was just skate rat. I was at the skate park, and
I got a BAM deck hanging out with my fishing stuff right now that I got from Dustin Wheeler, one of my fishing buddies. Actually a kayak guy now. So
nice. Heck
yeah.
Victoria Johnson, of no relation to Trevor K,
Of course not.
says, "What lake have you gotten? What you would call your best catch on?"
A PB. To be completely honest, two biggest fish I've caught in my life didn't have a scale with me, and they were on private ponds because I live in southeast Kansas. So I've caught a lot of fish on the pits, though, that would probably be my best class fish. Would be the strip pits.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then so you're a big bait guy. You throw those in tournaments?
Yes. Often my tournament size would be a 6-inch is normally where I would go, but there is times where I've thrown a bigger swim bait in tournaments. 6-inch mag draft, though, is on my rod every tournament.
So what's your favorite style of fishing? Your favorite bait is the mag draft?
My favorite bait would be the mag draft or a creature from bait, flipping and pitching, and swim baits. I mean, that's kind of my thing. I also like throwing a frog. Anything with braid, I like that. And then swim baits, I don't throw braid on personally, but I do like flipping and pitching. Would probably be my best technique, especially in tournament time.
Sorry, I put you on mute. I was hollering at my wife, seeing if she'd grab me something. That way I don't have to run off. So, okay, so you're flipping or you're throwing big swim baits. What kind of cover do you target? Like similar cover both ways, or break that down?
I guess what I would do would depend on time of year and where we're at. I mean, that's big. I've heard a lot of people get a straight answer, and that's fair. Hard cover or grass, it depends on time of year. Come summer, I'm going to be punching grass, flipping grass a lot more often. And when if your grass is a little more sparse or it's lacking, throwing around wood, any hard cover. Swim baits, a lot of times swim baits come into play for me in a tournament if there's docks on the lake. Skipping under walkways and stuff like that. It's more of a target, an ambush thing. A big swim bait is often you just want that to be set up as an ambush point. So docks are a great time for that, or more of a cliff type of setup, rocky, rock wall, that kind of stuff. That's a little more of the swim bait thing. So I would say I throw them different, but there are times where I'm throwing the mag draft in the same type of cover. A lot of that, there's different types of swim baits too. Obviously, when you're talking a glide bait, there's two different types of glide. You got a glide that's going to be more of a cover glide, and one that's more of a wide glide. So that would also determine where, what I'm targeting. So my favorite cover is where the fish are, man. I mean, it depends on my style and what you're trying to do.
Okay. Heck yeah. So for those that don't know, the mag draft's just a big soft plastic paddle tail swim bait.
Yep, with a harness. It's a treble rigged harness bait with a magnet in the stomach to hold it in place. Hence the name.
Mag draft.
Yeah, the draft has to do with it, the way it keels in the water.
Okay. So when fishing is tough, it was tough at Butler. So is the Senko, is that your go-to?
Flipping a Senko, flipping a creature bait, or a Neko rig. I do throw the Neko rig quite a bit when it's tough. Again, that's time of year dependent. Come summer, if it's tough and slow, I will either be flipping or throwing a Neko rig most of the time with just a finesse worm.
Okay.
No weighted. Yeah.
What'd you say about the weight?
It's a nail, for people that don't know, nail weighted wacky, basically.
Okay. Now, when you were out there on the water at Butler, for instance, because again, another tough day, I'm sure a lot of things weren't going your way. How do you keep yourself from pulling your hair out? How do you keep yourself positive? What do you do?
Well, Butler specifically, I had, what appeared to be a grandpa and his grandson out fishing, and I talked to them every time I passed. That lightened the mood a lot. They were out live baiting, and we had a good old time. But normally I just, I do lose my cool sometimes. I will be a hothead, and I'll flip out a little bit. Butler, I didn't have a lot going on into it. I was supposed to be playing softball that Saturday. Got canceled. because of lack of participation. And Ryan talked me into driving over there. I was tired the whole day, so I was running on 3 hours of sleep. So keeping my cool was pretty chill. A lot of the times, if I start spinning out, I'll go reset. So like when I was working that creek, I would come out, go fish something else, kind of reset myself, and get grounded, and then go back in and do what I was doing. And I've done that, and pass on Big Hill, for example. If it's not going the way I need to, I go reset and then kind of work back into my game plan. Or else I will spin out doing the same thing and just beat my head off the wall. It will happen.
Did you read that comment?
I did not.
Trevor spinning out. No way, never, says Dakota Payne.
Yeah, Dakota's seen some good old A-class Trevor spinouts for sure. Yeah. That's the nicest way to put it. Yes.
So Dakota's a Southeast Kansas guy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a kid. That kid's a hammer.
He's a young guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a young 18, I believe. 13 is what we call him, but it is what it is.
Sure, I'm sure he gets a lot of grief for
plenty of
being young. He earned a spot at the national championship out at the state tournament that we had out at Big Hill last year. So
correct, he did.
Yeah, man. And him and Jacob I think they just won the team tournament that you guys had.
Yeah, you just keep stabbing, man. Just keep open wounds. I actually took 6th in the qualifier, so that one hung with me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough event. But they did. This team event was impressive what they did. I mean, it was a grind for everyone. They figured it out. When we took 2nd, we were kind of bummed because we lost to them, and they're kind of our rivalry. I mean, it's us 2 and them 2 when it comes to button heads. We're all buddies. We all talk every day. I mean, I probably got texts from the 2 of them sitting on my phone right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they figured them out, and I guess our win was that we just outgrinded everyone else that had no clue what was going on, because Dakota figured him out, and he called Jacob out and told him, like, this is what they're doing. Here's where the females are, and they caught him. The kid's good. The kid's really good on Big Hill.
Heck yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And no, I didn't mean to rub salt or anything. I think it's cool that you guys are up here fishing with us, and I think it's cool that we're going to come down there and fish with you guys here in I don't know, a month or so, whenever that is.
Mineland, right?
We're gonna be down there for Big Hill before that even.
Okay.
So I'd have to pull up the schedule here, but CBG, also known as Casual Bass Guy or Mr. Ivan Diaz, he says, Trevor, will you be fishing more events with ACKA? I think he's concerned that you are. So maybe he wants the answer to be no.
I'll be completely honest with you. I plan on it, yes, especially the double events and stuff like that. I will try to make more, especially now that I have a win under my belt, for points wise. I got asked this earlier today, and frankly, I haven't looked past the end of this month because it's been such a busy month already. With Dardanelle coming up this weekend, Bone Creek still to come. And I'm fishing some All-American stuff too. So sure. I'll definitely make some more, but I don't know what that number looks like yet.
It looks like we'll be on Big Hill May 29th with you guys.
I'll definitely be there for sure.
So we're going to go get our butt spanked at Big Hill. Ivan did well at Big Hill last year. I think being his first time fishing it, he was somewhere in the top 10 or something, but I suck at Big Hill.
Me too, man.
Suck at Big Hill.
I can't stand that. Like, I'm going to do mediocre. I'll tell you right now, I'll average about a 15-inch limit, not make money, but do decent in points and go home. And I'll be fine with it because, man, I don't like Big Hill that much.
Is it because you're a flipper? Is it because your style of fishing, or?
I've never get the big bite there. I will always catch my limit. I mean, I figure the fish out, but I never figure out what they're doing. And maybe it's because I fished the wrong end of the lake because I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to there. I know where I can go catch fish, so I'll go live there. And again, ask Dakota and Ryan. I'm sure they'll make a comment on that too. But you know where you're going to find Trevor pretty much. I mean, it's no secret what part of the lake I'll be at.
Okay. So might see Trevor K again at another Air Capital event. Definitely going to be at Big Hill. Definitely going to be at Mineland.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I'm looking at the schedule here, and so we have Cali, we have Lions, we have El Dorado, um, Eureka City Lake, and so we got a lot of smaller bodies of water on our schedule, trying to keep it closer to the air capital. But if we keep cranking out 30 guys and go too much past 30 guys, we may have to find some bigger bodies of water to fish.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned with the travel. It's more just scheduling. I mean, I'll come down and roll with you guys as long as it's a free weekend. I enjoyed the event. I think you ran a great event there. It was a good time. I enjoyed it very much, except for the lake. It was a little brutal to all of us.
It was pretty brutal, but it was a good time. We got a lot of good guys that come out, and had a lot of new guys that came out. So just if any of you guys, new guys, are watching, if that was your first event, just understand that's about as tough as it gets. It was a pretty brutal day as far as fish that were caught. It was a tough one for everybody.
Yeah, the numbers showed that for sure. Reminiscent, like you kind of mentioned at the tournament, reminiscent of Farlington for the first event for us this year.
Yeah, so third and fourth place, I think both had 4 fish. Ryan should have had 5. He messed up his identifier. He was a good sport about it. Shout out to Ryan for being a good sport about it. But he should have had 5. But his 5 were the only 5 he caught as well. So nobody caught 6 fish. Nobody called a single time that day.
No, it was brutal. Shout out to Ryan for not knowing how to take pictures after he's been kayak fishing for I don't know how many years now. But whatever.
He's been doing it a while. Casual Bass Guy, he says Wilson, and yes, we'll be at Wilson. That's the next one. That's May 15th. That's going to be an air capital. It's also going to be a KBN event, Kayak Bass Nation event. So it's going to be an open qualifier event for the state championship.
Yeah.
So any plans to go that one, or still kind of up in the air?
I'd have to, again, I got to look at schedules, but it's definitely one that I need to make for, the nation side qualification.
Heck yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to do a little giveaway. So this is from Temptation Tackle, and these guys are some local guys. They're hooked up with the Kansas Bass Nation, and the cool thing about them, I believe a part of the proceeds are going to the youth KBN circuit. So the guy that's actually making these baits is helping run that youth division. So part of the proceeds, I believe, are going to those kids, and just giving them, kind of an outlet. And obviously, we're all fans of youth and college and high school. Like, all that stuff's growing, and I think it's really cool to see that sort of thing. So make sure you guys give these guys a shout out. If you haven't already gotten a message from me, we've got a $10 off code that he gave every Air Capital member. So if you're an Air Capital member, you'll get $10 off your first order. So hit me up if I haven't sent you that code yet. And what we're going to do is we're going to give away a $50 gift certificate. And I'm going to have Trevor pick a winner, okay? And we are going to pick out of the 32 people that fished at Butler. Okay? And I'm going to have you give me a number. And that number is going to be between 1 and 32. And that will be the winner of the $50 gift card.
Okay, in honor of Mr. Princess, number 4, the place he finished.
Okay, this is a little bit ironic.
Oh no!
Because this guy, it's not Princess. Okay, but it's kind of ironic because this guy has been pouring his own baits here recently, and it's Mr. Joel Johnson.
Nice.
Number 4. So Fat Basses TV is the winner.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So, fat basses, let us know what you think about these baits here, and show these guys some love. Show these guys some
Sweet.
love. They are doing some cool stuff in the youth division for the KBN. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you doing that. I have some more questions for you.
I got a question for the audience. Is it choppy on their end again, or is it just me again? I'm starting to get it. It's starting. We should probably get that answer and maybe fix it real quick. So it worked for 30 minutes now. Maybe we can reset and get her done.
Okay.
Go ahead and start that real quick.
Still choppy? Yeah. Give me a second, okay? Give me a second. I'm going to go grab something. Is it choppy?
All right, I think I got it fixed. I don't know what it's doing there. All good here. Wilson, not cool. Ryan, you didn't like that? I thought that was pretty nice. I could have done 2 for the place you put it for.
All right. Any better?
We're good. I don't know why, but it's wearing itself down every 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So appreciate you guys hanging in there. I had also, when I came back inside the house, I left a notebook back out in the garage. I had a couple more questions for you here.
Cool.
But first, I would like to actually, do you have your hardware with you? If anybody wants, yeah. Do you like it? It's pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy with it.
This is awesome. My favorite part about going to a tournament is I want to come home with something, right? Like I want to come home with hardware. The money's cool. I want hardware. I know Ryan's the same way. We talk about this all the time. Like we're going for a plaque, man. I want a plaque or a trophy. I want to leave with some hardware. And I think this turned out pretty sweet, personally.
Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to the Outdoorsman Coffee Company. Yeah. He's one of our sponsors. Shout out to the guys at Creative Awards. If you guys are in the Wichita area and you're looking to have some awards made, they do some really great work. Here's one that we're doing. RMP sponsored this one. This is the Big Bass. So we're doing first place and we're doing Big Bass this year. So that's kind of cool. Maybe later on down the line, we'll do, second place or third place. But I feel like, I really want first place to go home with something for sure. Second place, third place, they'll get the money. But it inspires guys like you to come away with the hardware.
We want that hardware, man. I want it on the wall. And that's the bragging rights, right? The money's spent. Right? But, we all traveling all that time. We're making a little bit of money, but it's about that hardware and that memory with that hardware.
Yeah.
You look back at the money.
You got a few of them?
I got a couple.
Any outside of the kayak world?
Yes. Yeah. I have a couple swim bait showdown, some stuff for swim bait specific tournaments.
Cool. Okay. So one of the questions that I had here that slipped my memory, what is your past with YouTube? So I found you on YouTube recently, and what's your past with YouTube? Tell me about that.
So my current channel is just something that I kind of remade and have slowly put a couple of videos up. Growing up, I did YouTube like early John B, back when he was JoJo Bars 33, if y'all remember that throwback. That's before he even changed his name to something a little more official. Pre-Googans, like I was doing YouTube. They were terrible. I mean, they were absolutely awful videos, unboxings, rod arsenals, the stuff that was popping when YouTube fishing was early on. And I uploaded a lot. I mean, again, nothing worth a darn. My buddy filming with a little digital cam in the background and whatnot, or a cell phone, and we'd upload that. But it got to a point where people, started poking fun, and it just wasn't worth it to me anymore. And I wish I had never deleted those videos because they're all just poof. They're gone. They're terrible. Again, they were awful. I probably didn't want to see them again, but I can't now. So it is something that I keep saying I'm going to do and I'm going to dabble back into. But as much as well as anyone, it's a commitment. It's very time consuming. And, by the time I'm home from fishing, I just want to sit down with the wife and the dogs and kind of hang out, uploading and working on videos. The Instagram thing, doing the short clips, the cast to catches, I like that. That's my pace. I would like to get into YouTube again, but it's a lot of commitment.
And if you want to find him on YouTube, Trevor K. Johnson, right?
Yes, thank you.
Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Check him out because we're going to be doing some videos, man. I don't know if you're going to be able to go, dive all into it, but I'm going to get out there on the water and you're going to show me how to throw swim bait. How about that?
I'm in. I mean, you schedule a time that works in our busy schedules, and I'm in.
You do have some busy schedules for sure. Okay, so here's one, like, I don't know if you've thought about it, this far in depth, but what does fishing mean to you? And then, like, how can you relate fishing to other aspects of your life? Like, what has fishing taught you? Just however you even want to interpret that question.
Or is what fishing means to me. I mean, fishing it's me. I mean, it's what I do. It's what I think about. It's what I eat, sleep, breathe. Outside of work and my family, I have a couple other hobbies, but there's only been one constant, no matter how many other things I dabble into, and it's fishing, especially tournament fishing. And this kayak thing has allowed me to do that even more. It's just less than expensive. I sold the bass boat to get to it because then I could fish more. I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't have to work as hard to pay for the bass boat. I could fish more. My friends, not all of my friends, but if I didn't go to high school with you, I probably didn't meet you unless it was fishing related or work related.
Sure.
Ryan, Dakota, Jacob, I talk to those guys every day from our local group, the swim bait guys. My best friend came because of swim baits, and we met each other at a random tournament, and I talked to him every single day. I mean, we FaceTime on the water, we talk every day, and so fishing has given me my life that I have now. I mean, as far as my relationships and friendships out there. And as far as at a deeper level, my wife, and at the time girlfriend, she bought her own kayak just so we could have that together and I could still be fishing while we're bonding. I mean, she has a little Ascend 10T and it allows us to go out together and I still get to do what I want to do. And she enjoys sharing that hobby with me. So fishing is who I am. I mean,
that's awesome, man. So like, I feel like fishing might have taught me to be more patient or, so like, do you have any, I mean, maybe you have your moments, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say, I don't even know that I'd call myself the most patient person outside of it. But part of that's my attention span as much as anything, I guess. And I guess fishing correlates to my real life as just being stubborn, and that can be a blessing and a curse depending on the day. So, I mean,
yeah, if you weren't so stubborn, you might not have made that pattern work, or I guess.
Forced it. Right? Yeah, forced them. And it can burn you. I mean, I've zeroed before because I told myself it was going to work and it didn't. And I've came home with money for the same reason. That would be the biggest correlation, is just being stubborn. Patience, like I said, I'm a go guy. I wouldn't call myself patient necessarily.
Whatever.
Cool, man. Heck yeah. So we kind of talked about cover structure there. How's technology? Go-to lures when fishing is tough. What about setting yourself apart? Like, is that in your approach at all? Do you think about that? Do you try to throw different colors or anything like that?
When it comes to flipping for me, which is my favorite technique, the only thing that can really set me apart from another angler, first off, I ain't fishing against other anglers. I may be talking crap on them and messing with them, but at the end of the day, they're not your competition. The competition is the fish and yourself. As far as flipping, man, I throw green pumpkin or black and blue 99% of the time. I mean, I keep it simple. But the one thing I can have is my time on the water allows me to analyze things differently than other people, maybe understand the stage of which the fish are in, and just my accuracy with casting. And that goes a long way when you're flipping and pitching. I mean, your presentation is key when you're fishing those kind of, baits. It is what it is. But as far as, I'm not out there to beat you, John, like in a tournament, right? If my goal is to beat you, we may be last and second to last. If I beat the fish, that's when you're in the money.
Okay. Well, okay. I got you.
Time on the water. I mean, and practice and studying. I you'd be hard pressed to find someone who's doing as much research, watching as many videos. They're out there, but
you said you watched the Marco podcast, right?
yes, I did.
And what do you think about that approach? Like, I'm just going fishing, and
Yep.
that obviously worked for him, right? But
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, could you do something like that? And
there's times I go out in tournaments, like, smaller stuff, and yeah, I'm just fishing, but I still think that Marco, because he's fished so much, I think he has that knowledge whether he knows it or not, so he makes those decisions.
yeah,
Because he has time on the water, he knows when to make changes, whether he, you know what I mean? He can downplay it all he wants, but he gained those experiences for a reason. He had, if he didn't know literally anything about fishing, he wouldn't do that. So
Sure.
like, it's still his experience that has got him to where he is. But yeah, he definitely has a laxed nature for sure. But he gained those experiences that still led him to do what he does to make money, win Angler of the Years. I mean, that hardware.
Heck yeah, man. No, it's kind of cool just to see, and that's why I started this whole thing, man, was just I want to find out, what these other guys are doing, what you're doing, why are you winning these events, and is there something that I can do to kind of imitate some of that, or take part of what you're doing. I may not want to completely emulate everything that you're talking about doing, but I may be able to learn something from you, take some of that and apply it to my style of fishing.
When it comes to that, I mean, I don't know if you've heard of the Bass University, right? Their slogan's never stop learning. So, I've spent a lot of time. I went to their classes live and all that. I'm an online subscriber. They're not lying. Kevin Van Dam learns every day when he goes to the water. If he doesn't, he's not progressing as an angler. So learning from each other is, one of the best ways to learn, and then your own experiences. So, I mean, if you're not willing to take in other people's, knowledge, you're not going to learn. You're not going to evolve as an angler, and you're going to get stuck in place.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. What are your goals this year for the club? Your Angler of the Year. What are you looking for outside of the club? These national events and stuff. What are your goals?
So we can break that down into kind of every section for you.
Yeah.
Locally, I won Angler of the Year. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a race, and I can tell you who my competition is going to be. We all have a pretty good idea of who's going to make it tough on all of us. A big one for me is I want to win that Team of the Year. I want me and Princess to take that. That's a big brag. Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling him Princess. Just.
I'm sure he loves it.
Oh yeah, we want that win. I mean, that's a bragging rights one for us, heavy. So that's I want to win though. Like, winning tournaments to me, winning that hardware, filling up the wall. I want that at every tournament, right? But we got to take that one tournament at a time, and that's how you get to AOYs, by being consistent throughout the year and focusing one at a time. Excuse me. From a national standpoint, though, I really just want to gain the confidence that I can hang. And if I can't, I've got to then learn how to adjust so that I can hang. So it'll be a big learning experience year for me as far as doing some national stuff. I think the All-American Classic being the regional, I think that'll be a good stepping stone, playing in some of those too. Kind of bridge that gap a little bit, and me just learn how to evolve and become someone who can compete at a high level, not just locally.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. So Team of the Year?
Yeah, I want Team of the Year real bad. Yeah.
I wish I would have realized I could have done this whole time. That looks pretty cool.
It does.
CBG there says, do you always take as much tackle as possible, or do you only take necessary colors, lures, terminal tackle?
This is time of year dependent for me and body of water dependent. I like to have a lot of tackle just because the what if. But if I feel like I'm dialed, I've definitely cut it down. I've done the paper bag approach when I show up with a bag of jigs, pretty much. I mean, jigs and trailers, or flipping hooks and creature baits. When I go to Butler and I don't have a clue what I'm looking at, I had an entire Bass Mafia bag full, a roller bag full that filled up my entire kayak, because I didn't know what I was going to be facing. The conditions were tough, but when fish are a little more predictable, so for me, summer, I'm probably going to be shallow, flipping and pitching. I don't go offshore very often, but I will, but I'm prepared for that. Again, that's just very dependent on situation, which I think a lot of fishing things is. But I like to have gear. I'm a gearhead. I own plenty of it, so might as well take it with me sometimes. But if
So
I'm making, go ahead.
You're a swim bait guy, so kind of a big bait guy, but do you see yourself, or do you do any like drop shotting, or you said you do some Nico rigging and stuff like that?
Drop shot is actually a strength that I need to work on. I mean, it's definitely not one of my techniques that's top tier. I power shot a little bit up shallow. I've done a little bit of that, a little heavier line stuff, but as far as out deep drop shotting, I've done minimal. I mean, I feel like I'm competent, but I'm not nowhere near the top of the game at it. Other finesse, I do throw a shaky head because I can kind of shaky head for me is often a downsize from my flipping. I can throw it in the same type of structure, just upsize my line a little bit. So I'm bridging that gap between power and finesse, and I'm still tied to a cover if the fish are just finicky.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I do a little bit of drop shotting, but what do you think about the live scope? Is that going to take you to that offshore stuff? Is that going to take your offshore game to another level? Is that the reason behind live scope?
Yeah, I mean, the reason for live scope is to just add another dynamic. It's not something to become dependent on, which I told you earlier. Man, you go to a lot of big boat tournaments anymore, you see guys almost running into each other because they're just staring down at fish.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking at a screen. They're not even fishing. However, when the conditions are right and I get a little more confidence in using it on a yak, because I do have experience on a big boat, and I've used it quite a bit, and I've been decently successfully using it on other people's boats. It's a different game with a kayak. You're floating a lot more. You're fighting, two dynamics. I don't have it on the motor. I have it on an independent rig. So figuring that all out, it's going to be a different game, and I'm not going to jump into trusting it in a tournament until I'm very dialed with it. Because if not, again, I'm wasting my time. Now, that's something to practice with, go out and play with, and I think it could take me to a better level on the offshore game. That's not a world that I live in often because I've not needed to. So if I need to, next step.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's just kind of ties back into the behind the reel concept. You're always trying to dig in a little bit deeper, always trying to learn a little bit more. And yeah, you may not be an offshore guy, but you're going to try to put that tool on your belt, and there's going to be times when you're going to have to lean on it,
Yeah. And if once you understand that technology, you can, it really is amazing, but
heck yeah,
it's a tool.
Heck yeah. Shout out to Biz Baits. I meant to do this earlier, but I got a little bit distracted when my microphone stopped working. Shout out to Biz Baits. So if you guys are looking for any soft plastics, these guys are sponsoring the club. I said it at the tournament. I try to say it at every tournament. Pay attention to these club sponsors. They're, they're investing in something that we all love. And, we go out and we fish these tournaments and we have a great time. They're literally giving product away. They're just giving us free stuff. They may never see any return on it, right? A lot of our guys are buying these baits, though. So I will say you'll see a lot of Air Capital guys with these Biz Baits, NECA guys. There's probably even some Southeast Kansas guys that are throwing them as well. Check them out. Support your local club sponsors. If you're not an Air Capital guy, support the SECA sponsors, Can you hear me? Dang it.
Yes, sir. We're good.
Okay. I lost you for a second.
While you're doing the spiel, I went ahead and just reset it.
Okay.
Timing right.
Okay. So yeah. Have you had any success on a club sponsor bait or anything like that?
SEC is such a young group. They have, we have some jig companies that have gave us baits, and I've used them. I believe Flint River. It's stuff I've won. I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty set in my ways. I'm very picky when it comes to tackle. However, I do appreciate it, and I'll go throw it. And if I catch fish on it, I'll tag them, and I think that's good because that's what's going to keep people sponsoring your group. They don't just want to give you baits to give you baits. I mean, they need some return, return on investment. They want to help you, but, return on investment's everything for sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to the club sponsors. I can't believe we haven't discussed your pink headphones yet. So I randomly asked you, just as we were testing our equipment out, I asked you your favorite color. What is it?
My favorite color is pink, for sure.
Okay. You tossed up like a cup that was pink. You got,
right.
You have any like custom pink rods or anything?
All my rod socks are pink. I did at one time have a custom swim bait rod that had pink in it. Yeah. I don't do the custom rod thing full time. If I did, they would all be pink though. Like if I ever went that route, everything would either be pink or have a pink accent to it for sure.
Been your thing for a long time?
Yeah. I like the color pink. Got pink Converse in high school. I ran track in pink shoes. I mean, just stand out, be different.
Trevor K.
It just kind of stuck, man.
Heck yeah. Cool, man. No, I like it. Okay. Well, I think we went over just about all of our normal questions here. I think that we have a good idea of what you like to do on the water, kind of how you overcame some of the adversity that we all saw at Butler this last weekend.
That's for sure. Plenty of that. Plenty of adversity. It was a good time, and I like a grinder. That's the thing. It's a grinding tournament. I've won them before. I mean, Farlington last year for us was one of my tournament wins, and same deal. It was tough, so it's just putting your head down and fishing. Ryan excels in those too. Is the problem, so he's always making me scared when we're in those situations.
Is Farlington? Is that Crawford?
Yes. Yep. Similar to your Butler is, what is it called? Starts with a C. Limer?
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard it referred to as that, but yeah, you're right. It says that on your map card, I believe.
Yep. And that's how I, when I was searching for it. Same deal with Farlington for us is Crawford State. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When you said Farlington, it kind of threw me off a little bit at first, but then I figured it was the same deal.
Yeah. Very similar.
Cool, man. Well, it looks like our questions have died down in the comment section. Everybody's probably ready to go to bed. I don't know, but I'd love to have you back on here at some point, and it'd be cool if we could do a little fishing video. Like I say, I think the swim baits would be a cool deal.
Yeah, let's link up, man. I'm good with whatever. Just again, we got to work around busy schedules, but we'll figure it out.
I've got a swim bait rod. I've got a setup, a custom one I had my buddy build.
Okay.
I'm throwing a Daiwa Tatula HD.
Ooh, you got an old 200 HD. That's a good reel.
Yeah.
Left-handed or right-handed? Because you might not want to show up with it left-handed. You might not leave with it.
It's I throw left, man.
You'd be lucky to make it out of Kansas, back to your part of Kansas with it, then.
So that's kind of a tried and true, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good reel.
And so yeah, actually I had him build this reel when I was getting into catching pike out at Kingman, and it's kind of a jig hook rod. It's probably not a good one to throw for glide baits and stuff with treble hooks, but it'd be a good. Well, I don't know, mag draft. That's treble hook, isn't it?
It depends. At that point, it would come down to line. It is something I've really dialed in with the mag draft. It depends on which side I'm throwing, what rod I'm throwing, whether I go braid to leader or I go straight fluoro.
Would you go mono even on something like that, like heavy mono? Or no?
Yeah, you could, to add a little bit of stretch. I personally don't throw it on mono, but you definitely could. I mean, it is a treble hook bait, but it fishes like a jig hook bait. I mean, it really does. It sticks, and because you got the resistance of the harness is pretty stout. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not fighting a line through necessarily, or they don't have much leverage there because it's a swiveling hook hanger. But so it does fish more like a top hook to me.
Okay. So you're using a little bit stiffer of a rod than.
I'm using a flipping stick to throw my 6-inch. I have two separate flipping sticks that I throw. One that's a little softer that I go braid to leader, and one that's a little stiffer that I just go straight fluorocarbon to.
Cool. Heck yeah.
I have two setups that I like to throw it with.
Heck yeah, that could be a good one, man. Where would we go?
We're going to the strip pits. We're going to Mine Land if you come up here for sure.
Okay, let's make that happen before whatever that date is.
Before Mine Land, I don't know about that.
I need some intel.
You may just need to make a 2-dayer up this part of the country. That
I just might leave a Tatula HD behind if you take me to the right pit.
Yeah, we could definitely go hit some pits. There's plenty of them out here. I love this part of the country. I mean, it's perfect for the kayak world.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I've never been. I'm excited to go try that out, even if I got to wait till the tournament. Hopefully I don't end up on the pit without any bass in it or something.
They're all got bass in them. They're just all pressured a little bit, but they're all there. They're loaded.
Yeah. Well, we hit it right at an hour, man. I appreciate you spending your evening with me. I know the wife got home kind of in the middle of this, so you better go make sure you're good there. And me as well. My wife walked in as well, so I got to go make sure I'm not in trouble here. But I appreciate you joining me. And Daniel says we got to do these earlier. So
amen, Daniel. I'm a little tired, but hey, I enjoyed it and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And make sure you guys go check out Trevor K on YouTube. I'm telling you, we're gonna have some videos up on there soon. And for you Southeast Kansas guys, watch out. Air Capital, you guys might watch out as well. This guy's he's got some goals, man. All right.
Have a good year, man. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah, you have a good one. We'll see you soon.
You too. See ya.
Bye-bye.